This is Bear Mountain. Welcome back to Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today we're taking you back to 1987 and we're making a run up Suicide Hill. We're talking about Winners Take All.
Hey, Clint, I was going to say, it's really awesome. I know you typically wear something for the show.
Yeah.
The white bikini looks great on you.
Doesn't it?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you should definitely go to YouTube. And
if Billy
and
were
look
here,
up
he
and
could make it up
you.
that hill.
You know what? You've already delivered the line better than she did, too.
Yeah.
That's the amazing part. Thank God you didn't show up cosplaying as Cindy. But we're here this morning to talk.
We could have brought a rock in for him to lay on to.
A giant boulder. That looked comfortable, didn't it? Yeah. Today we are here with Mr. Clint Bush, thankfully not in a white bikini.
How
are you?
Ruin it for people.
This is radio. We can be anybody we want.
You're right, we can. But I would not
don't
be able to
want
start a
me
Monday
to be
morning
that?
off by seeing that. No.
I got you.
Mr. Joseph Gorotowski also is on the mic today. Joe?
Hey, how are you guys?
I'm great, brother. How are you doing, man?
The weather was fantastic coming in. Nice
What?
snowstorm.
Oh, geez. I know, I just snowblowed my driveway yesterday.
Yeah.
And I only like to do it like once every 3 weeks.
I was
good
going to
time
say
getting
once
in
a
here.
winter.
Yeah, that'd be ideal.
Oh,
but
At Christmas, and then it melts, and that's it.
that's it. That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
You got like a whole stack of papers in front of you.
I am ready for this. Well,
All right.
the movie was an hour and an hour and 40?
About.
That's ridiculous. So, I got lots to say
It
today.
felt long.
It did.
It felt like 4 hours.
Now, Ryan Mueller also joining us today in the studio.
sir.
How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing well. I don't actually, I've got a 4-wheel drive truck, so days like today doesn't bother me too much. You make your own lane. People get out of the way when they see your truck coming. You're good.
Way to
Oh, you're
flex.
one of those guys.
I'm one of those guys.
Oh,
Sorry.
great. Okay, well, that's all right.
I left the dirt bike in the garage today.
Well, I appreciate everybody that's at home listening or in your car listening or at work, wherever you're at today. Thank you for tuning in to Bad Movies Rule. If you guys could do us a huge favor, could you pause the episode? Now would be a great time. If you're on Spotify, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcast, pause real quick, throw a 5-star ranking on there for us. It really helps out the show. If you hate the show as much, if you recognize the terrible quality and think it's like a 1-star show, that's fine. Just don't put it on the app. Send that 1-star review in an email to the show at thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. And we'd rather read that review on one of our mailbag shows and have some fun with it. So just only if you like us, rate us on the podcast app, please. That would be great. Today, like I said, we're talking about this movie from 1987 called Winners Take All. We want to say a thank you to, this was a request from a listener, Brandon Cantrell, who was one of our longtime listeners and it's been asking for this movie for a little while, and we had it scheduled out, so it was hard for us to get it in. But here we are, finally, Brandon. We are doing Winners Take All. I had never heard of this movie.
I feel like this is a movie that if I had known about in high school, I probably would have watched 47,000 times.
Yeah, it seemed like
Most
up
likely.
your alley.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So we appreciate you, Brandon, bringing out a gem here to talk about. We're gonna get the vitals out of the way and get you all the details about the film, and then we're gonna jump in. But this movie was directed by Fritz Kirsch. I don't know if it's Kirsch or Kirsch, but he's probably most well known for Children of the Corn. Did anybody ever
Yes,
see that back in the
Malachi.
80s?
I did.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
It's super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was a big Stephen King fan back in the day. I'd never actually read that book, but I remember seeing about 20 minutes of Children of the Corn when I was way too young to see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you just rock me to sleep tonight.
I'm done. Check, please.
So this is Fritz's follow-up to that. And this got me excited when I saw this. It was written by Ed Turner. Now, Clint, do you recognize that name?
Negative.
He also wrote Ernest Saves Christmas.
Son of a...
Yes.
Don't leave. Don't
How
leave.
can this happen?
Don't leave.
Where's my knife?
Wait, the show just started.
Just
Hold
started.
on.
Don't leave. It's the only 2 movies he ever wrote.
Man, this one was first. Ernest was second. So Ernest ruined this guy's career. The fact that this Ernest Christmas saving disaster ruined this man's budding career.
We've done his entire filmography now. So
No, I was gonna say he saved Christmas, but he lost his career.
that's right.
He didn't save anything.
At what price did he save Christmas? This movie stars Don Michael Paul, who himself went on to actually be more of a director than an actor, Kathleen York, Robert Krantz, and Deborah Richter. There is zero information on the interweb about budget or box office. I don't know if this thing even was
I don't
released
think
in
it
theaters. Well, we probably would have heard about it, right?
It had to.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I think we would have
87?
been about 8 or 9 by then.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I mean, there's tons of other movies, 87, 88, 89, that we, saw or went through. I mean, I don't even remember seeing this at a Blockbuster
Right.
Right.
on a shelf somewhere.
Because I would have
I
grabbed
don't think it was
at
ever released
8,
on
9.
DVD. It was like this is one of the ones that was you would have found at Nielsen's perusing through the crappy movies or at the motorcycle show or something like that.
Right, or you catch it like at 3 a.m. on TNT or something, right?
How to do wheelies and influence people, stuff like that.
Yeah. If Walmart had the $5 movie bin back in the day, it would have been
Yes,
in there.
that's
Been
exactly.
the 47-cent movie bin.
But I was surprised. So this movie has a 6.2 on IMDb right now.
Yeah,
That's
was
because
high.
the only people that know about it were actually dirt
People
bikers
that voted.
who saw this when they were young.
That's what I think happened is that because it's also got a 73% audience score, and there's so few votes, like 300 votes,
Yeah.
that you're talking about just the mega fans probably going on there and rating it, right? So I don't know if it's accurate.
still only half of them. Just
Right.
over half of them got.
All right, so I want to hear your guys' kind of first impressions of, your overall impressions of the film. So, Clint, I think we can at least establish before we go into this that none of us had ever heard of or seen this prior.
Nope.
True.
No.
Okay, so we all went in fresh.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so in a general sense, what are your feelings about this movie, Clint?
Opening scene was, I'm sorry. I didn't see the opening scene because the only place we could find it was on YouTube. And
That's
all the opening credits and whatever few minutes are missing.
Yeah.
So we watched it. Opening portion of that, however, fantastic. Good stuff right there.
Starting off on a
Set the tone for disappointment.
So was it Deborah Richter on The Rock? Is that what?
Yeah, that's what
okay.
it was. When you have the YouTube version, yep.
I thought for sure she was going to go ahead and pick up right where Cyborg left off and start us out on a good note here.
All right. So that's your overall impression of the movie is do you like Deborah Richter on The Rock?
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Okay,
I mean,
all
the
right.
whole movie was pretty all right.
All right.
I liked it. I mean, I can't say it was a great movie. When we get to the end,
Yeah,
this is
we'll
definitely a bad movie that's
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Mr. Gortowski, how'd you feel about this?
It's an 80s cheesy film. I was horrified to find out it was an hour and 40. And about half hour into it, I had to bring myself, down and okay, I got to finish this.
Do a lap around the house?
Yeah, I did a couple times.
he's a half hour and he's like, all right, I'm almost done.
Yeah. But
Nope.
It was rough.
Okay. All right. Ryan?
I we were talking about it yesterday. I think I actually kind of like the movie. I guess for like Joe said, it's a 80s cheesy movie, right? I think I kind of like the cheesy movie thing.
Yeah.
I thought from that standpoint, for a cheesy movie, it was done fairly well. I mean, it wasn't awful. Was it a little long?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of got me with the cheese factor.
All right. I had no expectations going into this. Well, I mean, my expectations were for it to be terrible, I should say. And I absolutely loved this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was incredible. You're shaking your head at me. Halfway through, I'm like, wait, do I love this? Like, why am I so into this? I mean, it's cheese.
Yeah.
It's straight cheese.
Oh, yeah.
But it had heart. And then when I saw who wrote it, I was like, that's why it had heart, because Ed Turner wrote this movie and Ernest Saves Christmas had heart. And that's why this movie had heart. The man could put heart into a movie.
Clint's got one foot out the door already here.
I was absolutely shocked how much I wanted to buy it after I watched that on YouTube.
I had to because I thought the YouTube, I'm like, this seems to be like it's missing something here.
Right.
So I bought it.
Yeah. So for those of you who are listening at home, it's not currently streaming anywhere. I mean, if you listen to this a year from now, it could be different. But as of recording, not streaming anywhere.
We're going to put this thing on the map.
You can find you can find it on YouTube for now. Who knows how long that lasts? But the full version has the opening credits cut off. But there's another version that's cut into like 7 pieces where you can actually see the opening credits.
I did catch the.
You caught that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I have a
if you're out
problem
there
with the beginning.
and you want to see it,
Right.
go and see it. So we're gonna jump in and we'll start with the missing scene. I mean, it looks like 3 of us saw it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Joe, talk to me because you seem ready to like.
I am ready.
Go.
I am ticked.
What happened about
All right,
this?
so I started off. Yeah, I started off on the bikini scene one where the whole front half of the movie was done. I was like, okay, and they just start jumping into stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what is going on? And you had mentioned that like the opening credits where I'm like, okay, there's something there. I'm like, this whole thing is ridiculous. Who is this guy? Why is he getting on the bus? Why is that person there? There's nothing. I'm like, okay, I got to find something. So I go back.
Yeah,
I find the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, about that.
And I get right back to where the bikini scene was, and it wasn't any better.
That's what I'm saying.
It didn't help at all. I still didn't know who that guy was and why he's getting on the bus and what are these people even doing?
Yes. So
I believe you catch up as a viewer the immediate moment where they actually interact with each other on the bus.
Yep, correct.
After the truck scene with the publicist.
Yeah.
So to catch our
No.
Yeah.
It's not. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to go into that.
Yeah. No, in the first, I mean, to that point, the first 5 minutes is they have the locker room scene and he's like snapping at what appears to be his teammate. I'm like, okay, maybe that's some foreshadowing of something. That's kind of answered a little bit down the line, but not really there. I mean, it takes a long time to figure out what that was about. My other problem is, and I think they took a trick from Iron Eagle here and just had some footage and said, we'll just use that. Because you listen to the announcer, they're saying, okay, we're at the opening the season at the LA Coliseum.
They say it like 4 times.
Right. And they show the LA Coliseum and people going into probably a Rams game or something. Who knows?
I was looking for something like that. Yeah.
And then they cut to it being indoors, and I'm like, what is this? And they finally you get a shot of the roof. I'm like, well, when did the LA Coliseum become Old Texas Stadium?
Yeah, exactly. Which was where they shot the finale,
Right.
the quasi finale, right? And so just to catch people up at home, the opening credits is a motocross race, and they're establishing Bad Billy, which I'd call them Bad Billy Blowout for the whole movie because he's walking around with like that poofy blowout hair.
And does he ever take his uniform off? I mean, he's like wearing the pink jumpsuit.
It's under his clothes.
Yeah, I mean, it just.
But they're establishing, okay, this guy is a Supercross champion, right? And so the opening scene during the credits is just like kind of like Rad did. Look at this cool bike action while we show you the opening credits. And then he wins the race. And so it's just establishing him as like a top pro.
Mm-hmm. He did not deliver a single newspaper.
No, he didn't. I mean, that was after the opening credits, but yes.
Yeah.
He didn't deliver any newspapers. I'm sure this isn't the first time we're going to compare it to Rad, but it really is a totally different movie, at least in my estimation.
It is.
But we were sold this thing as Rad for dirt bikes.
Right. And so Billy wins this big race, and then from there, it cuts to this small town, and like you said, Joe, no context. We don't know anything about who these people are after this guy wins this race.
Is it like that enticing to just say, all right, all this character development, just take 3 pages off the front?
That's right.
Just go right to it.
Just shred these. Yeah. We don't need it. We don't need it.
Yeah.
Right?
There wasn't much anyway.
It was an hour and 42 minutes long.
Yeah. Well, look, the basic overview, at least the setup of the plot, is basically a local college kid is friends with a famous motocross racer who's now coming back to their hometown after he wins this big race.
He was a college kid?
I
Yeah.
hoped he was a college kid.
Yes, he was a college because they were signing up for classes.
Yeah, they were signing up for classes. They showed the board.
And so his buddy, who they've been friends with, Bad Billy Blowout since 6th grade, is coming back to town to race in a qualifier or whatever. And that's the setup, right? He's coming back to reunite with his 3, school friends, essentially. And so but you're right. We don't learn that till 10 minutes in when the bus actually gets there. Right. So Rick Mellon, the 3 friends are Rick Mellon, Goose, and Wally. And did you recognize any of these guys when you watched the movie?
I did Goose a bit, and I had to look up and see where, because he looks so. I mean, he's actually done a lot of different TV shows and stuff. I mean, the bigger ones, I'm like, when I looked it up, I was like, that's where I most remember him from. The sheriff in Sweet Home Alabama. He was the sheriff. And then he was in Back to the Future. I think he was one of...
he was actually the kid. He only shows up at the very end.
Yeah.
He's the kid that comes up and is like, get lost, McFly, and like shoves him away from while they're dancing. And then George has to go back
he had
up.
Big parts and some of the other things. But yeah, he's actually done a lot.
He has. And I recognized him immediately. The other guy was... So Bad Billy Blowout was also in Back to the Future.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Bystander number 2. Remember that? Yeah, he was great in that movie.
I looked up on IMDb and it's like he's known by some of these movies like Back to the Future, and I was like, oh really? What was he? Bystander number 2.
Best known as Bystander number 2.
And that was the second thing listed on his.
Yeah,
He was the only bystander,
Circuit?
but he was so bad at it that they called him the number 2.
Was he in Short Circuit?
Yeah, as the reporter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And did you know too? I looked him up further. He's actually from Wisconsin.
Is he really?
He's really, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
He went on to do a lot. From an acting standpoint, I think him and Kathleen York probably, and then the guy that played Goose probably had the most, lots of television, stuff like that, but, the most active careers after the fact.
A lot
the
of
guy
hardworking people.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Rick Mellon, Goose, and Wally are basically racing around while we talked about Cindy is laying in the woods, kind of in a bikini on a giant rock, which looked super comfortable, but, it was fine.
Apparently she did it all the time. That's what we found out later.
I'm going to take one out of Bob's book here. I want to be that rock. Bob Hauser, everybody, channeling through me.
But immediately, like you kind of joke, Clint, she's like, Billy this and Billy that. And when you see Billy, will you bring him by?
Yeah.
Billy would get up Suicide Hill.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shut up, woman.
Yeah, right.
I've been taking notes on this, and I have a how-to-do list.
Yeah.
Of or that's a how-to-do, but how to get a boyfriend in 1987.
How's
and
that?
I wrote down all the little
own white
things to
bikini.
do.
What's step one?
Step 1. Make him jealous by talking about other men.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah,
this
there you
is
go.
when she started it right here.
Yeah. I'll go number 2. I'll stop
Okay.
at number 2 is challenge him to an extremely dangerous stunt to make him prove that he loves you.
I wonder if that was a ploy to
I got
get him
more.
killed.
Yeah.
I wonder at that point.
I mean, to get her guilt out of the way.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Because
she
knows
had already
Billy's coming back.
She already was planning it. And at the time, I didn't realize, but looking back, I think that's why she was like, I bet Billy could run Suicide Hill.
Yeah.
I bet you
It's
Billy
called
can hold this
suicide.
gun.
Because I was really... I was excited. I was like, oh, Deborah Richter's in this. I loved her in Cyborg, right? It was great. And then I didn't realize she plays the devil in this movie.
Yeah.
I bet you Billy can drink this antifreeze.
It's a terrible, it's a terrible human and just a terrible acting job overall, period.
I bet Billy could juggle dynamite.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, my gosh. Well, okay, so next we meet Bad Billy Blowout, right, who actually seems pretty chill.
Yeah.
And his partner, Frank. What'd you guys think of Frank?
His publicist or
Whatever
team
that guy
owner.
is.
He
Yeah.
likes faces.
Yeah. I was talking to Ryan, and he does the first thing out of his mouth is,
Nice
you got
face,
you got a
boy."
nice face, boy.
Hey, boy, nice face. That's a face we could put on TV.
Yeah, that's what it is. Look at these sunglasses. You know I'm legit.
He looked like a discount Ric Flair.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. he
Wish.com, Ric Flair.
Wish Flair. It's like the director's like,
Oh, and that woo.
we want you to be Ric Flair, but just with like none of the things that make him likable. And the guy's like, I got you. I can do this. No problem. And Frank nailed. If that was the parameters of the performance, he absolutely nailed.
Hey, he nailed discount Ric Flair.
Discount.
Bargain bin.
And every time everything he says is just like dripping with slime.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's who he's supposed to be.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was the contractual business?
We never know. I don't know. They never really defined.
No.
Well, he was the Hurricane
He's like
motorcycle
the
team owner.
or something.
Right. He was trying to sell bikes.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
He's trying to
think
sell
so.
all American-made bike.
With parts made in Japan.
Well, I mean, that's pretty standard. You're going to have parts made everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, maybe even in 1987.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harley famously, the AMF,
That's true. Yeah.
bought the company, so.
Let's go for the record. I don't know much
No.
about motocross, so I'm going to stay out of all.
I'm going to say that This movie was full of many Harley Davidsons and Ducatis, Scavarnas.
Oh, just to bother people,
Wait,
you're going to
what?
say all that stuff.
That's why you're going to do it.
So we go to Sam's bike shop. Speaking of bikes, because this is when I first started having questions because I know almost nothing about the technical side of this stuff. Not like you.
You know about lighting, though.
Yes, I do. Which I don't know. Flick at least the house lights on while you're in Sam's bike shop.
Here, take a look at this bike. Where? I can't see anything. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
the lighting was terrible. But
Just this one scene.
They jump on this bike, okay, and Frank's basically trying to do this PR thing. And so he's as Bad Billy Blowout comes into town, he's taking him to all the different places with a
Kind
camera.
of a faux documentary.
Yeah, right. It's like, well, we got to go see Sam's bike shop. And everything this guy says, this is my guy. He's a winner. He's an all-American winner. This is literally how the guy talks, like his regular like I bet when he goes to like order breakfast, he's like, I'll tell you what, sugar, please come and give me a scrambled eggs and bacon, okay? Because I want food that's made in America. Like,
Yes.
Look at my sunglasses.
Look at my sunglasses.
You can see yourself in my sunglasses.
Wait, maybe that's why there was no light in the bike shop. They were trying to convey to us the fact that this guy's always got his sunglasses on.
Seeing it through his eyes.
All right, here's my question. So they jump on this bike, and he's like, I'll tell you what, man. Oh, the sidecar. That's America, baby. That's it right there, right? And I'm like, is a standing sidecar is a thing?
Absolutely.
They were?
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
they actually are. I
The
do
guy
know
on
that.
it is called the monkey.
The
Literally,
monkey.
yeah, because he climbs all over the bike to they
Help
don't
balance
lean.
it,
They don't really
basically, yeah.
lean, so he's counterbalancing around corners so they can just keep ripping.
Right. So
But this guy will lean all the way off the bike, shoulder on the ground, even.
that's what I'm saying. So just for our listeners, they jump on this bike, and the guy's like, the manager's like, all right, we got to go to the next place. He's like, no, I want to hang out with my friends. And so they just take off on this bike.
Yeah.
Him, Bad Billy Blowout, and his buddy Rick, the main character.
And then they go on a,
Which was
misdemeanor
awesome.
spree of stealing stuff
Right.
from people.
But as they're going around corners, you're right. He's leaning so far off of this sidecar that his shoulder's almost touching the ground at points, just coming around like telephone poles. And I was like, I was puckering. I was just like, seemed
This
very
is-
dangerous.
This is a thing they still do to this day. I mean, obviously the new ones are aerodynamic and fairinged up. and
Really?
everything
They
like
still
but
do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was shocked. And you're right. They
Do you,
did.
know, do you know who wasn't shocked?
Who?
The driver of the beer. Right. He was just like, oh, look, there's two kids stealing beer out of my open vehicle.
Why is he having?
Conveniently left
Why is
open.
it open? Yeah. Weird.
He was just like, all right.
Guy's driving a beer truck down the road with just the flaps open.
Yeah.
First, they pounded through a warehouse and they stole stuff through the warehouse that was sitting on the cart. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's just like, oh, we
just-
need
we're
hot
just gonna
dogs.
steal from
Let's grab
everywhere.
some of these hot dogs. And then, hey, look, conveniently, a beer truck with every door open on the side.
and then they have their Brokeback Mountain scene up on top of the hill, just
They
themselves.
do, but here's what I don't understand. Yes, obviously that the beer truck was just wide open and they're stealing beer and all this, but it just didn't seem plausible that box of dogs and beer would survive what was happening on that bike. And he just had it laying on the floor of this sidecar.
And if you look at one of the scenes, the hot dogs look like they're hanging over the edge of the front of the sidecar.
That's what I'm saying. They were going over jumps and flying around corners, and they just like they were velcroed to the thing.
duct tape.
It did not seem plausible to me, but yeah, they get their Brokeback Mountain scene. I'm glad that you said that because it's
I
just
love you, man. I miss
two
you,
dudes
man.
chilling by the fire.
Let's go do it right now. We're going to go up there right now.
Yeah, so
It's dark
I get
outside.
paid. I get paid to do that stuff now.
So, hang on. He said before all that, he says that he gets, let me start over. Sorry. He said, man, you got to be rich now. I mean, you made $50,000, in that last race. And he says he only cleared $900 off of the Supercross race or whatever it was that he had won that $50K from, which seems crazy to me.
If he was paying his whole year's, you figure you're sponsored. You don't pay for your bike. You shouldn't be paying for tires
When
at
he
that
was
point.
part owner of Hurricane, too.
That's what I thought. And so and this is also, where he tells Billy that he's dating his ex-girlfriend, Cindy, right? Deborah Richter.
Yeah.
And that's important that we know ahead of time that Billy is fully aware
Yes.
that they are dating. Okay.
Right. But at the same time, it was like, hey, he was dating her before.
Right.
But they left town. It's like, hey, I started seeing her. So he's kind of confessing, like, hey, man, I did this thing that I probably shouldn't have done.
Right.
Well, and she was married, though, before. Like, it sounded like
After Billy left.
She got married. got separated or whatever.
Yeah, so also, notch number 3 on her belt for being the devil is that she's apparently still married through this whole movie.
Yeah, never said she was divorced.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that part.
No, they just said she was
got it
separated.
on my
Hey,
list.
let's be easy. She just wanted to get out of town, see the world,
What did I
and
do that
actually
was
do
so
something
wrong?
with her life.
That's right.
She
That's right.
legitimately said, "What did I do that was so wrong? I just wanted to get out of this place and see
Exactly.
something."
So yeah, you're right. He goes, let's do it. Let's climb Suicide Hill. He's like, I get paid to ride now. Sometimes guys got to ride for kicks. I don't ride for kicks anymore.
People get angry.
I ride for $900.
Because I gave it all to Frank.
And
who's
even
got
though
a
you
sunglass
just literally rode for kicks on the sidecar, but we're going to ignore that too.
Right.
Yeah.
We did, however, see later, jump forward though, that Frank
Yes.
was taking his money and
Yeah.
giving it to the teammates.
We do,
to
yeah.
keep them in line.
Yep.
You know, it's like, hey, we're pushing our guy out front.
Right. And so that makes sense why Billy would get mad
But
later.
Billy
He said,
acted
we
like he
giving
didn't
him money.
know. But at the same point, some
Right.
point in that, he's like, hey, I'm the guy with my name on my ass, so you know who to follow. So it's like,
Yeah, right.
You did know that they are there to follow
That's
you.
a really weird flex, by the way.
Well,
You're like, hey, my name's on my ass.
I mean, maybe this was the movie that started that trend. Now you got Juicy and whatever else on people's asses now.
Can I-
start with Bad Billy?
Wait, Juicy was some girl's name, actually?
It was. It started off, the first person that did it, I
Yeah.
think it was her name.
And then somebody's like, hey, I like that. I'm going to do it. They didn't realize.
Whoa.
Juicy
My mind
Smillier.
just blew. Okay. I got it now.
So at the next, okay, I got to get my stuff together here.
Well, that went off the rails quick.
So we go.
This show is trash at gmail.com.
That's right. Send all complaints. This is the next thing that comes up is now we kind of see what Frank is in town for. Outside of the race, we get this hurricane bike promotion
Yep.
with Barbie in the swimsuit.
Well, that was the most horrible promotion ever. She was boring.
Yes.
Like you shipped this girl in all the way
Right.
from LA.
So Bad Billy's money is going to pay for this. I mean, this is
This
like
is what I'm saying, man.
It's got like 30 bikers just licking their lips.
Oh yeah.
And then they're talking about,
Right.
which I couldn't tell if they were talking about the bike or they were talking about the girl.
Right.
Maybe that's the point.
I think that was the
that's
point.
That was the point? No. Okay.
But what I actually really loved from a story standpoint
that's not
is
cheesy at all.
This is the first time we meet Judy in the movie.
Yep.
And what a great contrast to Barbie, right? You have Judy come on stage right after and start showing up Frank like she
Yeah.
knows more about bikes than he does.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And just like the difference between those two women, I thought was beautifully contrasted. And obviously Frank right away is like, oh no, we got a lady up here, don't know nothing.
He straight up tries to chauvinize her off the stage.
Right.
I think there's a guy up here and he wants to buy this bike, and right now you're standing in his view. So would you please come off the stage? Yeah, man. I really like Judy in this movie. And
So here's a question I had
Yes.
about Judy.
yes.
So Kathleen York, if you look at her IMDb, was born in 1975.
Yeah.
This movie's made in 1987.
Yeah.
12.
12.
Yeah. She's tall for a 12-year-old.
That's the math.
And like, right. Yeah, that's the math. I'm like, how is she 12? She doesn't look like she's 12 even. Yeah, she's tall, but I mean, she looks like she's at least 20.
This happened in Garbage Pail Kids too.
I think here's what happened with that one. I'm going to guess, because I saw that what happened is it's probably 1998. It's 1999. She's not getting any roles anymore. She told her agent, like, go on my IMDb and change my birthday to 1975.
And that sent me down a rabbit hole because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's got to be something else. What did they? Some get screwed up where she's born in like 1965. I mean,
It had to have been 65. It had to have been, because that would have been 22.
Right.
Which seems more plausible.
which would have been. I mean, and especially for some of the other scenes later in the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I hope she's not 12.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way. There's no way.
You can't trust the internet.
Oh, but everything on the internet is true.
I heard that on the internet.
So
Abraham Lincoln said so.
while this is going on, Goose and Wally get into a little bit of trouble. They start jumping on the bikes that they think are part of the display, but it's actually
Never
team.
sit on another man's bike.
That's right. They're Team Hurricanes bikes.
Yeah.
But not like cool Billy Blowout, but
no.
the other guys
Yeah.
who we had not really met at this point.
Nope.
Turned out to be total D-bags.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it a trope? I don't know if this is trope. It could be. But they just needed to come up with some kind of a conflict.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
They just
absolutely.
like,
What are you doing my bike for, man?
yeah, why are you looking at me weird?
Manufactured conflict is a trope. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's what that felt like.
But like he even says, "Hey, we're friends of Billy's. Billy who?
Yeah, Billy.
We don't know no Billy. We just read his name on his ass as we're following him all over the place.
Two things. Bad Billy is just the worst nickname to have on a pink jumpsuit.
It absolutely is. I was just about to go there.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
BBs.
Oh, and here's the other thing. I mean, they're jumping on these bikes, and you got a bunch of dudes that show up in pink jumpsuits. I mean, it would have been more plausible if
Right.
it was outside a Harley bar.
Could they have picked a less intimidating outfit?
I don't know.
I don't know.
The hair.
Right, and they're coming out all hard, right?
The
all
Megaforce
hard.
gold.
Rivera had a blowout too, and so when they're like him and Billy Blowout are having their little face off, they got the same hairdo.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Well, here's my thing too. Is like, well, you guys just told me about the opening credits and stuff like that. It's like,
Yeah.
so Billy who? That was probably more understanding if you saw the whole thing. It's like,
Yep.
hey, he doesn't care who that guy is. So we just had a fight about F that guy.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
care about
Right.
you and his friends. So there is maybe where some of that conflict comes from. I don't care if you're Billy's friend.
Yeah.
I don't like him either.
And the opening credits didn't really tie that together
Yeah.
No,
very well at all.
no, it didn't really do anything at all. But they have this big fight because you're on my bike. We got to fight. We got to fight now.
Yeah,
because
that's it.
This is what happens.
We're enemies now.
Right.
And Rick runs over to help his friends, right? And straight up suplexes a dude.
Rick Flair in that. He's just right into the bed of the truck.
That was actually kind of cool.
I know. I was
Yeah.
hoping
I was
Frank
like,
would run
yeah.
out and be like, "Woo!"
Did the little Ric Flair.
Did the little walk.
This is where we need the video. You guys gotta watch
The YouTube.
You gotta watch the YouTube on that part. They're all doing it.
Fast forward, how long are we into this?
That's
now?
right.
A minute, about 30.
Yeah, we're only 20 minutes into the movie right now.
But
We
they
are 31.5 minutes in, and the record button has
right.
been pressed. So we're in good shape.
Bad Billy Blowout runs over to his old friend Rick, and he's like, "What are you doing, man? That's my team." And they bro out after like literally 2 seconds of being mad. All right, we cool, man.
Well, they only had an hour and 40 to get it all.
No,
in
we
here.
need to wrap this. Come on.
And then Cindy pulls the classic whore move and goes straight to the motel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That was also part of my How to Get a Guy in 1980.
Well,
Was
we're up to
Step three.
It was step 3 was make a lot of physical contact with the other dude
Yes.
while the other guy is watching.
Yes,
Leave him and then go to the hotel room with the guy.
just
Yep.
straight up,
Just straight up, yeah.
show up.
And then when you're in the hotel room with him, make sure you insult him.
That's right.
Yeah.
Insult the living hell out of him.
Right.
Yeah.
And make it perfectly clear you just want to get out of town.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you don't actually care about him.
That's how you get a guy in
Right.
1987.
Hey, that's
But it was obvious in that just in their pillow talk there at the end of that scene that she just wants to get out of Dodge.
Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah.
Right?
Well,
she doesn't care
Sure,
if it's
it'd be nice
Billy
to
or
see some of those places.
I mean,
She's
hasn't
just a
slept in
damn
days.
groupie. I mean,
Yeah.
she's just a damn groupie.
Right.
That's,
She hasn't slept in days. She's
Right.
puffy eyes and everything. Jeez.
that's just Deborah Richter's face.
Huh?
Famously puffy-eyed Deborah Richter is like
Oh, I
sits-
thought, that's not her character? I
no,
thought she was
that's
like-
just her natural
She's a
resting
great
face.
actress.
maybe she does never sleep. I don't know.
That's how she gets ready to do a movie. She
doesn't
sleeps
sleep.
up for sure. She stays up for 3 weeks. Day 24. We shot the scene on the rock today. Psychosis is starting to set in.
I look great, though.
I think I'll make a pass at Billy tonight.
That's right. Look cute. Might be a whore later. I don't know. Sorry. I shouldn't say that. All right.
It's all right.
So we finally get our first, I don't count the opening credits, our first racing action
Yes.
of the movie is this qualifier race.
Yep.
And I gave up trying to keep track through the movie of what these were. This is the qualifier. This is the final semifinal of the qualifier. And I'm like, whatever.
I don't think this one was actually a qualifier. This was more of a just the hometown race because motocross happen all over the place.
Yeah.
Motocross and Supercross have nothing to do with each
I
other.
think he said it was a
the skills
qualifier
go.
though.
The reporter at
The
the end.
reporter at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the
point is it doesn't-
over footage from something else.
Well, the point is it doesn't really matter.
Right, it doesn't because he crashed out, didn't finish, and
Right.
still qualified. So it wasn't a qualifier.
Well, yeah, what are you qualifying for?
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
right,
saying.
Right.
But I love how it starts off with the ladies open class. That's right. I said ladies.
Ladies.
Like that's a dude.
Hey, guys. We got ladies doing this
That's
now.
right. And I wanted somebody in the crowd to stand up and go, they're going to let ladies race? They're about to. That's what I wanted. The way he announced it, I wanted
Yes,
somebody in
sir.
the crowd to stand
Please sit
up.
down.
They gonna let these ladies race in here? That's what should have happened.
But it didn't.
No, and he even called you like, here's Judy, the #1 ranked lady racer.
Well, you could have had Frank. You could have had a Frank out there just saying, "Oh yeah, the ladies are going to race. They just like to look into my sunglasses."
That's right, baby. All American made sunglasses. Boo. All right, so here's the point where, I mean, I know he saw them like canoodling a little bit before, but this is the point where Rick actually sees them like full on making out outside of Billy's trailer.
Yep.
So Cindy and Billy, I'm like, they know he's there, right?
Right.
Like in attendance on the ground somewhere.
Yeah.
Like he'd be a little more careful. They
You
like
would think.
fall out of their trailer, just making out with each other.
Yeah.
So Rick's like, that's it.
I do
That's
like
how you
that
get
they
a guy.
went to a hotel room and then they're in the trailer in the morning.
Yeah, well, that's, you know,
Apparently there's a time lapse.
when you make $900 racing, you can have both. Okay? You can have both. Come on. All right. So Rick's like, I'm racing. That's it. And Judy, this is the first time Judy and Rick have an interaction, and she sees him working on his bike, and
Having
she comes
trouble
up
with his bike,
and
yeah.
speaks Japanese to him. And, you know, which was kind of weird, and I didn't understand that. But thankfully, she spoke English for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Only occasionally spoke Japanese. She's like, yeah, your wire's geeked in the starter thing. And I'm just like, wah, 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 wah.
She has some other
Those are
ones.
real parts, actually. She was dialed in, dude.
She had some other lines.
I knew it
wrote
was.
down.
I'm
But
like,
to me, it's Japanese.
Yeah, she had some other lines that I wrote down later when she's going through the whole training process,
Yes.
or trying to convince him to start training.
Yes.
Okay, but
We'll get to it.
yeah.
Yeah. But no, basically, anytime they start talking about that stuff, I was like, it was like they're speaking Japanese to me.
That's okay.
But what was wrong with the bike? The
Cable
throttle.
was frayed.
What does that mean?
So
Well,
the
there's just-
cable
yeah.
is inside of a sheath, so when you pull on it, they can go around corners and stuff without getting caught up.
Okay.
But if it's frayed on the inside, it won't return because you're pulling it one way, and there's
Okay.
a little spring that puts it the other way. So if the cable is messed up, it won't actually move freely.
So that's why the throttle gets stuck
Yes,
on.
absolutely.
And he can't stop.
Precisely.
Because as
You could just
know.
clutch it and let it blow up. I mean, you don't have to crash and die. You have options.
Okay, that's helpful
Yeah.
for me to know.
he needed to beat Bad Billy though, so that wasn't an option.
No, he had to race.
Yeah.
Had to.
One of my favorite parts of this movie was when Rick, he's like, I'm racing. Get away from me, stupid girl. I don't care about my frayed starter line or whatever it was.
You've got it so much better.
I told you it's Japanese. He rolls up to the starting line right next to Bad Billy Blowout, right? And
This is the weakest takedown ever.
It's the takedown was hilarious because of the pause, right? He pulls up next to him. You just got to have everything, don't you, Billy? Like 10-second count, and then he just dives on him and pulls him back like by his neck off of the bike. And the
Yeah.
look on Billy's face, I don't know why it struck me as so funny. He was like, "What the hell?"
It was ad-libbed. It wasn't even right in the script, but we're keeping it.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like. And then there's this, big ruckus before they even start fighting. I just wanted to see him. I saw you naked with my girl, Billy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The announcer knew a lot about the friendship between those two guys.
He really did.
He's like, these guys, well known as being best friends, are fighting. They also shared, hot dogs and beer together the other night.
And a lady.
And apparently a lady on a rock.
Yeah, she's standing right over there.
That's right. Oh my gosh. So
She
they
looks nice, though.
I'm shaking her later.
Eyes are a little puffy, but hey.
all right. So they have this race, and I got to tell you guys, just in a general sense, I thought some of the way that a better director could have shot the race footage better. I think if there's any complaint I have about the movie is that some of the racing footage wasn't. It's like the difference between how Iron Eagle's director shot the aerial combat footage, and then here's how like a super competent director like Tony Scott shot the Top Gun footage, and it was so much better. A great director, I think, could have made the racing scenes better.
Way
in this
more
movie.
exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
Way better camera views. But you got to
Yeah.
think, when they shot this in the type of budget, because you can tell by just the way this movie is shot,
Right.
this guy that they're doing the race-to-race footage from,
Yeah.
he had a full VHS taped camcorder strapped to a helmet. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's like legitimately, this guy was doing the best he could to keep his head on his body.
Right.
100%. 100%. And I almost crapped myself when the dudes were just straight up walking like like when the dude fell and he's walking on the track and the guys are coming up the hill, missing him by like this much, and I'm like, get off the track every time that happened.
I used to watch motocross back in the day when I was younger on ESPN. Yeah, you'd see that all the time.
Dudes coming off jumps and nailing people.
Yeah.
Only 12 people were killed during the filming of this movie.
My goodness, I was seriously having like anxiety whenever there was just dudes walking around on these tracks.
The insurance money alone from the fatalities paid for the budget.
So Rick crashes hard, right? Because he couldn't stop because of his
starter line,
his frayed starter line.
Whatever.
Yeah, the blinker fluid.
He ran out of blinker fluid and he crashed.
Next to the putnary valve.
He telling him anything about cars or motorcycles or anything.
Yeah, these were cars. This is a car race movie.
Yeah,
James.
The reporter comes up,
please,
and the reporter's like,
Stay away, everybody.
"Why you suck now, Billy?" Was basically. The reporter.
I remember now. I remember. I thought you were going
Hardcore
to the
jerk
further.
interview.
Yeah.
First, I always love how they make these like a big deal.
Are you washed up?
Get right to the point.
Like, what channel is this on? Right, it's some race in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, ESPN
it's
is covering.
No, it's on like the local
Yeah,
access.
exactly. He's like, "Why you suck now? Why your teammate better? You 24 and you're over the hill now."
Yeah, why didn't you perform last night in the trailer? I heard rumors.
The fact that is that true? Like he said, "Oh, you're 24 years old." He literally says, "Are your skills diminishing?" It's a young man's game. I'm like, he's 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you watch him walking around too, it's like he's got a bad knee or something.
I guess.
I
guess.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it is
You
like if
probably
you're falling off the bike, you're getting beat up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Is 24 over the hill in motocross?
I mean, McGrath raced longer than that, but he's like some of the top elite type stuff. But I would say your average, probably.
Wow, that's amazing.
I can look it up so that I don't sound like a real. No, that's not over the hill. People race into their 90s.
right.
It doesn't matter if you look it up; they're still going to call.
I wanted Frank on a bike at some point in this movie.
Factually false information. From
That's right.
Clinton.
When then Frank shows up for the interview, he's like, my boy ain't over the hill.
How about this? Even when he loses, he wins.
Now looking at my sunglasses.
It doesn't matter that he's lactose intolerant; he's still a winner.
That's right. That's right. And then,
Many of the top riders between ages 18 and 21, the average Supercross rider is 25 years old.
oh, there you go.
There you go.
So he's approaching that age then, I guess.
I guess this is exhibit D in the case of Cindy as the devil is she just doesn't even check on Rick when he's injured.
No, he's dead.
He's basically dead. She's like, whatever, hangs on Billy's shoulder. Then the very next scene, Billy's trying to call the hospital, and the first thing out of her mouth is, "He asked for it." I'm like, this woman is the devil.
I don't know what I'm more shocked by, her reaction or the willingness of the hospital to give out medical information
wife
to a
said the
complete
same
stranger
thing.
on the phone. Oh, you know this guy? Sure. His blood pressure was 120/35. He's got
That's
got
really
the clap.
whack blood pressure. I got to be honest.
Fractured rib, broken arm, but hey, otherwise you'll be all right.
That was the starter line of blood pressures that you just did right there.
I know.
I don't know what it is either. Don't feel bad. Yeah.
I know 35 is way low. If you want
Is
a
that
high
good?
number.
180 over 92. How's that?
All of our
Whoa.
nurses that are listening,
Whoa.
send us an email. This
also,
show is trash.
What year did HIPAA go into effect?
1988, apparently. Apparently. All right, so Rick quits racing. He doesn't die, but what's funny is they get through his injuries. Every scene, he's got one less medical apparatus on him, right? He's got the neck brace, the sling, and the cast. In the very next scene, it's just the sling and the cast. Then it's just the cast.
Yeah.
And then he's fine.
He still had a mean right hook, though, with that cast on.
He did.
Well, yeah.
Decked his friend.
Going back to the old medical stuff.
Yes.
When the guy broke his nose.
Yes.
Do you remember there was a debate when we were growing up whether when you had a bloody nose, were you supposed to lean your head back or forward? Like,
Right.
That was like a debate.
It was.
For a while. I don't know when.
And he leaned it back.
I was like, ooh, that's bad.
So that's what you're supposed to do then, right?
No, you're supposed to lean it forward.
Well, Goose didn't die. He's
Definitely
fine.
back.
I mean, I just learned from this movie that's the way to go.
I always lean my head back and pinch the top of my nose, and I lived.
Yeah.
What up?
I got
I bet Billy could lean his head back and survive.
Yeah.
He's Bad Billy. Bad Billy blowout.
That's right. Billy do a headstand if he had a broken nose. Billy Blowout.
in his pink jumpsuit.
That's
His
right.
name on the ass. You don't want my
All
name's
right.
on my ass so you can see when I'm on a headstand with my bleeding nose.
No blood comes out of my nose.
I'm going to put it upside down on my ass, too.
If you can read this.
So,
Do you think it's like in reverse so you can see it in like a
Yes.
rearview mirror? Or
That's
something
right.
Like, that? Like an ambulance?
that's right.
I don't know.
That's exactly why. All right. So, Rick,
That would work if his name was
Rick tells Sam, sell my bike. I quit racing. Right. Get rid of it. And he just goes about working at this grain place with his friends,
Knocking him out.
knocking them out. But then he meets Judy again, right? So this is Judy and him are signing up for classes together.
Here's the thing. She's the top-rated high-end racer. Why is
Lady
she
racer.
Still in town?
Lady racer.
Why is she still in town? If she was traveling with the circuit
Yeah.
to get here, why was she still in town?
She
because
decided to take classes.
because of
there.
Carl. Remember, she was
Carl.
dating Mr. GQ,
Mr. GQ.
right?
Feels-
With his Corvette.
You couldn't tell Carl was worth giving up your motocross career for.
No, is that...
Best character in the movie.
Is that is that some sort of trope like the
His shorts were a
yuppie
trope.
80s with the shoulder
the polo,
sweater
yes.
and the polo and
Yes.
the Corvette? Yeah.
100%. So they meet. Rick and her meet up while they're signing up for classes, and
No, I'm just gonna say we can, with the female advice.
yes,
On how to get a guy.
yes.
I also wrote down how to get a girl in 1980s.
Oh,
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So first
yeah.
one is just be an ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
That works now,
works.
too.
Okay.
Yes.
Next one, wear very tight, short, stripy shorts.
Okay.
Okay. That helps.
Rick's workout attire.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you have to train together.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Get a nice little training montage.
Yes.
And then ask her name.
And then find out who she is.
And then find out
Yes.
what her actual name was.
That's fair.
Seriously, we don't find out her real name until this point.
Until they're already going to work together.
Well, Rick doesn't, but they said it in the
Yeah.
But Rick
national
doesn't
race,
know.
But Rick
But
doesn't
he
know.
did.
Yeah.
He's like, "What's your name?"
But when they meet again, she's speaking Japanese to him again. He's like, she goes, well, you got to work on your hill jumps, maybe learn to close the door better. And here's me on the couch. Totally. I also saw that he needed to close the door better.
Yeah.
So how do
That
You
definitely
need to
needs to
take-
happen.
You need to take the whole
Do I-
shots, work on your hill jumps, and
right.
shut the door better.
Right, totally. I thought
her
when I was
advice.
watching that last scene, he should have closed the door better.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought so.
What the hell does that mean? Close
You
the door
need
better.
to
It's basically blocking off somebody.
Oh, okay.
you need to clean the strainer out.
You got to clean the strainer.
Yep, got to polish that chair.
That's right. You polish the chair.
Do the laundry.
Right. You do the laundry. Sweep that deck, and we're gonna win the race.
Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg, Johnny.
That's right. That's Rad. Rad was the Karate Kid ripoff.
Oh.
But
Right.
they borrowed a few times. But yeah, so they start working out together. She teaches him how to sweep the deck and do the laundry and
Yeah,
polish the
the tea kettle.
polish the tea
Polish the
kettle,
brass.
all that stuff. Close the door, and she gets a third of everything he's going to win, which seems like a pretty sweet deal for her.
That's how you end up with $900.
Well, no, I was going to say that'll be more than what Bad Billy gets.
That's right.
'cause
That's right.
He doesn't have any teammates that's going to get
right.
funneled out to.
And so they have this training montage where she's teaching him, and him and Goose and Wally, the four of them are riding around. This is the first time that frickin' Carl shows up. This guy.
Carl.
Rick
Yeah.
and Carl.
You know how long it took me to find this place?
I had to drive down this back
For
road.
25 minutes.
Yeah,
And, oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
come on.
And my Corvette can't handle the dirt road either.
It's got
And she's just
ground clearance.
this guy,
You know how many nicks I got in the paint on my Corvette driving down this dirt road?
frickin' Carl. He's the worst. How is she dating this guy?
Money.
He's got a Corvette and a hell of a sweater tied around
Yeah.
his neck.
Might be. So she takes off with them, and this is the first time we get kind of a glimpse that Rick might be kind of into her, right?
Yeah.
As they leave, and he's like, I don't like the boyfriend, right? You're like, oh, okay. I thought maybe it would be a platonic. I thought maybe for once they're going to just have like a platonic relationship. That did not happen.
I found it really interesting. You know, Rick going through this bad breakup, watching his buddy come into town,
Yeah.
sweep his girl out, because they're sharing glances back and forth, and
Yeah.
here's him gonna do the same damn thing.
That's right. To frickin' Carl.
To freaking Carl.
Justice for Carl.
Justice for
Now
Carl.
we got to have a Carl movie of him just driving in the woods trying to find Judy.
Dirt bike places. Showing up at dirt bike places right after they've
All
all
of a
left.
sudden, they have the lady circuit going. You see the Corvette
right.
coming over the jumps. Now he's chasing after her.
That's right. That's the losers take all is what that's going to be.
Yeah.
The sequel, 30 years in the making.
That's right. Real loser in this.
So speaking of borrowing stuff, this is when we get the Apollo Creed scene in the hotel, which is the scene that like where Duke, the trainer, was like, "Now you better take this boy seriously. He's on TV punching this meat." He's like, yeah. I'll knock him out in 3 rounds. Like, no big deal. So Frank comes in the hotel room to Bad Billy Blowout, and he's like, "Rick's gonna race, man." And Billy's like, "Who cares? I'm doing bicep curls in my hotel room."
Right?
I don't care about that.
Yeah. Dude, look at my sunglasses and my American-made pants.
Well, he didn't have this. This is maybe like he didn't have the sunglasses on. This is the first time he didn't have them, and I was like, "Oh, it was like shocking." But at one point, he walks up and Billy's like, "I don't care. I'm lifting weights. I can still kick ass." And he walks over and he makes him so mad that he goes like sunglasses activate mode and puts them on in the hotel room just to tell him this important thing. He has got to put his sunglasses on. Well, you're slipping like a high schooler in heels. You had to put on your sunglasses to deliver this message before you left. It's hilarious. The machismo in that room was thick.
She tripped on it when she came in.
Yeah. He's doing bicep curls. He's yelling at him in his sunglasses.
Came back. Oh, you know the pizza. They just. I didn't even order pineapple. They put pineapple on the pizza.
That was a top 3 moment in the entire movie. Shut up, Cindy.
I like what she said.
I stood up on my couch. I was like, yes.
And she said, "You know I didn't even do anything." Yeah, you didn't do anything the whole movie.
Yeah.
Except steal guys.
Literally, you're a succubus. Yeah. You're a barnacle on this man's
Try some cucumbers around the eyes or something. God. You're killing me here.
Bad Billy Barnacle.
That's right. Shut up, Cindy.
Billy Barnacle.
Oh my gosh. All right. So they arrive at the stadium.
Cindy. Sorry.
No, they're finally here. They're at Texas Stadium for the Supercross, and they get their little area right next to the Johns is where they set their bikes.
Yeah, there's 14 porta potties. This is where we're parking.
Yeah.
That's right.
This is our pit spot.
This is the spot they give you because you're a lowly independent, right? And I assume that's what they got assigned. Maybe they picked it. I don't know.
But it was nice seeing the guy walk out of the porta potty and get right to work.
Go right to work.
I was like, well, that's kind of
maybe it's a benefit.
It's convenient. I didn't see they had a ton of beer
Right.
there, but it's convenient if they did have a ton of beer.
But this is when Cindy walks up to Rick. Okay.
Yep.
Shut up, Cindy.
At this point, the last time they interacted at all, they were kissing by the fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Her and Rick when Billy was there.
Yeah.
At that point, every other scene with Cindy is with. We never see him interact with Rick again.
Right. Nope.
She says nothing to him and just takes off with Billy. And so she walks up and she literally says to him, "What?
What did I do wrong? What did I do?
So, what did I do? Exhibit L, M, and N for why she's the devil."
Exactly. Get
Well,
the PowerPoint
yes,
out.
what's the-
Whiteboard it, can I start making notes?
Well, it's
Project it
1987,
right on
so they
the
got to get their
Johns.
transparencies out on the overhead. Well, I happen to bring these along with me as well.
Turns on the over-objector. Pong.
You gotta wait for the bulb to
I've
card.
also got my 8mm film here to put on a movie.
What's the next one? How do you get a boy?
Be drunk.
That one still works.
That one still works.
But I tell you, most of
Yes.
it all comes down to a lot of peer pressure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's pretty much the end of the list. But yeah, it is
All right.
a ton of peer pressure in the 80s in order to get yourself a guy or a girl or whatever.
It's a
Right.
very, very comprehensive list.
And the next terrible
Taking
thing,
notes, man.
well, she says 3 terrible things to him. After she says, "What? And what did I do?" She said, "Well, your tastes sure have gone downhill."
Oh yeah.
And I was thrilled when he's like, "Cindy, do me a favor. Get lost."
Jog on.
Honestly.
That was the first point where we see that maybe she might be interested in Rick as well.
Well, she
Yeah,
sees
well-
Rick's up and coming. He's a supercrosser now in Bad Billy.
Not
Oh, Judy.
Judy.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That it might be
Judy
reciprocated.
comes over and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
sure
And
to
she got mad. She
put
had
herself
the food
in the
Yep.
here.
we start to see signs of romance, and I got to tell you guys, I was there for it. I was totally invested.
couldn't help by that
surprised myself how invested I was.
Yeah, I was like, is this going to happen? Let's make this happen. I mean, they
had chemistry.
They both can speak Japanese to each other. I mean, that's a start. Put that on the list.
Great friends.
Yeah, okay.
They do. They had a great chemistry with each other.
Yeah.
Well, they meet this lady who has a husband.
Yeah, the husband.
Tony
They're
Longo.
Best friends ever.
Tony Longo is awesome.
He's fantastic.
I always remember him from Angels of the Outfield, right?
He needed to be in the movie earlier.
Talk about the bear?
Yes, the bear.
Oh, the bear.
Yes.
And his wife, Peggy. Oh, man, they were
Just
awesome.
screams
cool.
at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Tony Longo has done tons of stuff. Now, it was weird to see how like fit and in shape he was because later in his career he was just a big dude.
Guy.
But he was great when he came out of there after she screamed through the door
She's
for him
all
to
nice.
wake
She's
up.
like, oh,
You're
yeah,
gonna
here's
wanna-
some
you're gonna
food,
wanna
here's
move
some
out of here.
chicken.
Yeah.
Bear, get up, you're going to miss it.
And then
she's
she like
here,
shuttles
get out
him
of
to
the way.
get out of
And
the
then
way,
she's
get out of the
like, she goes back to, okay, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, that's right. Tony Longo should have been there earlier in the movie, but he's there now. Bear comes in, and they have this again. Final semifinal. It's the final semifinal, but okay, sure.
Yeah.
Who keeps track?
Well, they did do a qualifier race.
did a
first.
this is what I'm saying. Is that he placed fourth in that? Because
No,
the top
the
four.
he won the
semifinal. He won the
qualifier
qualifier.
He won the qualifier.
He
the
took the
qualifying.
transfer in the semi.
And then in this, he said the top four get to the Supercross.
Go to the main.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which he took fourth in that one.
Right.
Yep.
Rick did.
I think the problem, James, why
Yes.
you're having such a hard time following along, is that his choice in outerwear,
Yeah.
the neon orange, completely washed out the screen.
It did.
So you really couldn't tell what was going on. I'm thinking that's that.
Yeah, it might be. I do appreciate that most of the time the main characters they put in the brightest colors possible,
Yeah. So you
so
can
that
like,
people can be like, "This is where this person is." This everyone else pretty bland.
Yeah.
I think they did that on purpose. But what followed all of this was the most insane party that
Yeah.
That was
that's
a
normal.
ripping party.
That just happened.
Yeah.
Exactly how kegs work.
Yeah.
it seemed like this party. You just punch them and
Punch it and then just
like-
it just kind of drains out slowly.
this
And
part.
he had like half a beer. He's like, yeah, I'll throw that away. Let me get this bigger one here.
Right. It seemed like this scene almost belonged in a different movie, though.
I feel like a Caddyshack movie.
That's what I'm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Kinda
Like,
like
or Animal House or
Animal
something.
House.
Yes.
That's what I meant to say.
So it just seemed like 3 notches above what I expected from this. I mean, it was a funny scene, but it like took me off guard all of a sudden. Like the level. We had the Double Mint Gum twins show up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Don't look up their history. It's
Don't.
actually kind of tragic.
No.
But no, it actually is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I can say right now, I definitely know which part of the movie was paused the most.
Jumping in the pool scene.
Jumping in the pool. What these two twins is that's what they do? They're like, all right, who's it gonna be tonight? Right? How about a newbie? And they just like grab poor Wally and just like assault him in
Poor
this whole
Wally?
in this
Yeah. You know what I found
Goose.
interesting? So you got Wally, who is drunk off his ass.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
can't even find his door. He's just
Right.
blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, Double Mint twins. All right, not drunk anymore.
I did laugh when he gets in bed. He's like, "It's pandemonium." I was like, he's doing his own color commentary while
Charlie. So you could have
Yes.
Frank show up. Yeah, hey, yeah. Oh, wait, oh.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Then Goose comes in, and
Yeah.
Goose and then
Just joins in.
It was just
Yeah.
again. It seemed like it should be in a different film.
It was.
All I know is they did not paint a good picture of reality.
No.
You know, when I go to parties, and get
No.
Have you
just
been to motocross
tanked,
parties?
drunk, that stuff does not happen.
Well, have you ever been to a
you just don't
motocross
remember.
party at Texas Stadium?
You just don't remember it. That's all.
There was a great part.
Okay.
I thought that the romance scene between Rick and Judy, this is when they finally say, profess their love for each other,
Yes.
was delightfully awkward. Right?
Yeah,
It would
I
be.
wrote that down
And it
too.
would
I'm
be,
like,
too.
And it would be. I
and
thought
would
it
be,
worked.
I think so too, but it's at the same time I'm thinking, I'm like, man, Rick Mellon, not really a ladies' man
Right.
at all, not a smooth guy
He
in
even
the
goes
least.
in.
No.
He starts his talking, and what he's going to say is like, damn. It's like that keeps the mood up.
No,
That
it was
really-
it was
that's-
perfect.
I thought it was.
it was like it was, I was like, it's like a rock skipping on Cheese Lake. Like I kept waiting for it to like plunk in, but it never did. I think like it made it all the way across and it would just like touch on the cheesiness.
Yep.
But I thought ultimately it sailed. Like the boat was seaworthy. The scene worked.
No, and I think because it's finally like, okay, are you guys going to do it? It's so awkward. It's so...
Right.
You're kind of, it's building up to that, it seemed, right? And it's like, all right, they finally do, and they walk off hand in hand.
Yeah.
And,
I totally bought it. There's so many of these movies we talked about where there's either no chemistry between the people or you don't buy it at all or it seems forced. Like Arnold and his wife in Jingle All the Way. But I totally bought these two. I thought there was real chemistry and it totally worked.
I think, out of all the kind of interrelationships in the movie, I think that was probably the one that,
most realistic.
Most real. Yeah, exactly. Most realistic.
And the movie takes you from this emotional high. And the very next cut is the ominous zoom in on the bike.
Bikes, yeah.
And I immediately, there's something. And I was just I'm in my seat going, no,
not the bikes.
You can catch in the reflection while they're watching them in the room or whatever. You can catch in the reflection of the glass the guy who's pouring on top of the bikes and a slight flicker. Yeah.
I was so angry.
Yeah.
Seething mad. But then something really cool happens, right?
Yes, sure.
They have this Japanese scene in the diner where they're all talking Japanese. They're like, I got a X Series dongle, and the guy's like, let's go.
I got two Putinary valves that's sitting right back here. We can connect them to the gums.
I got a fork and a spoon and a knife. We can put that on there. And
I just wanted.
Your frame's still good. Yeah. I got a swing arm and I got a welder. We can weld your swing arm. I got some forks. I got some shocks.
I just wanted the door to open in the diner and Carl to walk in and go, you know how long it took me to find this place? I've been driving all over Texas. Jeez. That would have only been the only thing that would have made it perfect. But it cuts straight from the diner to like this mad scientist set up blue tent.
That's the NFL
the medical
injury tent before there was NFL injury tent.
And you can just see silhouettes of like parts and arms and stuff. And I just wanted somebody to come out and be like, it's alive. That's the kind of vibe I got.
They should have had Bear do that. That would have been appropriate.
That would have been awesome.
Because I called it Frankenbike.
Yes, it was.
It was a freaking bike.
Now, is that something that is plausible that in that short a time, using whatever they had around?
If you had,
as you're watching that scene,
how much time did we have? You could probably, with a real crew of guys and a dirt bike from a Bear frame,
6 hours, maybe?
Probably less. I'm talking about a team racing. I guarantee you they get it together in less time than that.
Because I always wonder when I'm watching this and they're like trying to put this together, like someone like you that actually could do this, watching them like, oh, the engine won't fit and this is wrong and this and that. Like, how much are they fudging? How much did it seem like it was pretty accurate?
They had a welder. They had, if you had any kind of fabrication tools, you can make anything fit anywhere.
Okay.
But yeah,
Couldn't
as far as
just ask somebody else to use their bike?
Absolutely. Somebody who didn't qualify. What about Bear's bike? Bear had a bike that he did not qualify on.
That's true.
Why not just...
They just used it for parts on the Franken bike.
Right.
We just take Bear's bike apart and we're going to put the parts on the bike.
It wouldn't have looked as ridiculous on the starting line, though. That's why.
You know what looked ridiculous?
Yeah.
Having a bunch of people standing around a guy trying to jerk it. The motor.
Yeah, come on, man. He's trying to kick the motor.
Trying to jerk the motor on.
Yes.
Kick the motor.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
No.
There was not a circle. I'm not even going to say
it. Was a circle kick.
It was a circle kick.
It was a circle. Okay, he was
circle
kicking
kick.
it in a circle motion.
Yes.
Yeah, that was awkward.
As they come up to
you just need a good bear kick.
That's what I was going to say. You just have to have Bear come in. So my car won't start. I got to find Bear and
come on, Bear.
Bear, can you punch my car, please?
We don't jump cars. We just have Bear come kick.
That's right. So the Supercross final, Bad Billy Blowout or Barnacle or whatever his name is. He goes back and forth between being a dick and being cool. And so he's being cool again. He tries to give Rick a heads up before the race, like, hey, watch yourself out there. There's some shenanigans.
Now he's even more obvious to him that, hey, these teammates of mine are kind of tool bags.
And Cindy's got out of town, so now she's looking to get further out of country.
She wants to go to Japan now, apparently.
Yeah. She's going to go learn Japanese.
Hitting on this other guy. Well, they have
so she can understand the motorcycle talk.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's like, what's the starter line?
And why is it bad if it's freight?
Here's the thing about this movie is you think this is the end. because the whole thing's been building towards Supercross.
Right. It's not.
But it's a faux ending. We find out in a minute. But before we get to that, they have the race. Which, if you had given me a list and asked me to list 100 ways this could have ended, a giant melee in the middle of the track would not have made the list.
I was not expecting that.
I don't understand why some of these guys get disqualified either, because there's 180 people who show up in this small town again.
Yeah.
They're all disqualified.
They're all, so they basically, for the people listening that haven't seen the movie, because I think a lot of people haven't seen it, They have the Supercross race, and it's basically, after a few laps, it's down neck and neck between Billy Barnacle and Rick, okay? But Rivera, the other guy, Billy's teammate, who's kind of been and tried to burn his bike and did all these other things, is just waiting on the other side of a jump to...
Well, he had wrecked.
He had wrecked.
He was too far back to be able to catch up and influence the outcome.
And so he's going to drive into...
He's going to wait a lap until they come back around again, and he's going to drive into or launch his bike into
Rick.
Assumedly Rick.
Or maybe both.
Yeah,
who knows?
And he looks over at sunglasses guy.
Yeah.
And they do the whole karate kid.
Was in on it.
He's like,
Sweep the leg.
This is the thing I said they still borrowed from Karate Kid, because it was you're going to get yourself disqualified, but it'll take out the guy, so it's okay. It's the whole Karate Kid thing.
Yep, sweep the leg.
But Frank was totally in on it, which is you thought maybe Rivera was just acting on his own because he's a dick, but
gave him the sign
that's
twice.
what he was paid for.
Gave him the sign twice.
Right.
This is the sign.
But what they didn't count on was Bear.
Bear.
Yeah,
Big Bear.
Big Bear.
And Bear runs right across traffic.
Big Bear runs right through.
Big Bear chased me.
That's right. And just starts a melee, and all these people start crashing, and riders are fighting each other that had nothing to do with what happened.
Right.
It's just this total brawl. It was a slobber knocker.
Bear wanted to help.
Yes.
It cost 3 people their lives.
And everybody,
but he was going to help. Yeah.
Bear killed a guy. Yeah. But yeah, they also, you said they all get suspended. Well, I don't know. It seemed like almost all of them got suspended.
They only said 6 names or something.
Well, and a whole team of, and this and that. But
the entire team.
Names, but for whatever reason, let's settle this.
Right.
Blah, blah,
but henceforth, that race then after that was always known as Bear Mountain, by the way.
Yeah.
Every time after that, they would race Supercross at Dallas Stadium. It was renamed to Bear Mountain because he claimed it.
That's true. He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Billy Blowout goes back to sucking after they all get suspended and starts being a dick again. You never beat me in your best day. Right? And I'm like, bro, make up your mind. Are you going to be a cool guy? Are you just going to be a dick? Or there's no consistency with his character.
Sunglasses Frank don't care about you.
And here's
figure that out.
The natural progression for this thing is, we've got this beef between us.
Right.
Why don't we just go and ride Suicide Hill? Why did that not happen? That should have been somebody finally made it to the top of Suicide Hill. That should have been the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then why the heck does this estranged teammate now, because they're all not on the team anymore because they're all disqualified from racing.
Right.
So why is he like, I'm going to be there too? I was like,
they're all going to be there. Every racer that's ever raced shows up to their local spot in their hometown.
Why don't
Except
we just
Carl. Carl wasn't there.
Except for Carl. Now,
he was broke down on the entry road. High centered on a twig.
Every racer's there. But they did set this up in the fire, the Brokeback scene with the fire. He does make the comment to me. He says, at all the places I've raced, this is still the hairiest, right?
Yeah.
He goes, the rattlesnake.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And it's really the only time they mention it.
Right.
And so there was the purposeful foreshadowing that they're going to come back and race the rattlesnake, which they basically all show up at the top of this dirt hill. There's no track, but everybody knows where to go. This is the thing that drove me the most crazy.
You know what would have made this
Motocross?
scene? A Cessna just...
Just going faster than them by a little.
That's right. With the flaps down.
with the flaps down.
That's right.
They really went all out on the location on this.
They did, and it was awesome.
They filmed in Mojave Desert.
Visually.
They were they're in the mountains of Afghanistan.
That's right.
They were in the jungles of Nam.
They did.
They traveled the globe for this scene.
On this one race. But how do you know where to go?
Well,
It's the smoke, which is right over there.
Okay, but
It's only 100 yards
It's only
away.
100 yards away, but we're going to go that way.
It seemed like it.
But
It's on
when
the
you
other
have
side of the
Supercross,
Yeah.
Supercross is a circuit that you go around laps in inside of an arena or whatever, or arena cross, whatever. But they're generally there are outdoor Supercross, I believe. I've been wrong before.
Okay.
Tell us about it.
They will.
But like legitimately, those are smaller laps generally, and you'll run more of them. On actual motocross, they're outdoor cross country. Usually, there will be course markers. Like even when we saw the BMX thing, you'll have tape for rad, where the side edges are. But there should be flags and gates and stuff to keep people in the right direction. But no, they are generally. This isn't a sanctioned event, obviously.
No, and there were dudes going.
So there wouldn't be all the lined hay bales with the logos on them
And there were
stuff
dudes
like
going
that.
every which way.
Oh yeah.
Right.
This is Megaforce.
It was like basically
rad.
We're going over
combined.
this was kind
was
of a
mega rad.
Mega rad.
Mega rad, yeah.
That's right. Mega rad takes all. They Rivera goes down pretty early, the jerky pink jumpsuit guy.
But then catches right back up. So he is the best rider out of all of them.
Before he gets, I'm like, he fell, he's out. No, he just chest kicks this guy and gets back on and catches up. Yeah, he's amazing.
Best ever.
And who's the other pink guy, the blonde guy that's also a jerk in Team Hurricane? He barely has any lines. But one of the funniest parts of the final race is when he's just keeps smacking the dude in the helmet.
Wally. It was Wally. He was smacking Wally.
Was it Wally he was smacking?
Yeah.
I don't know why it struck me as so funny, but he's just like doink, doink, stop it, man.
Who's the red hair guy again?
Oh, Goose.
Goose.
That was Goose.
And then Goose shows up and just kills the guy.
With a log.
With a log. Just like, and they're like, yeah,
a well-placed log in the treeless desert. Oh, hey, we got a log here.
And that was right before they crashed into a truck, which also had me laugh out loud.
Yes. with a bull in it.
It's a bull.
And then they go to escape on top of a red tarp.
That's like an ending you would see like one of the bad guys would have.
I know. I love
like the two best friends of the main character.
I love those guys, though. I thought that was perfect.
Yeah,
for
they
them.
were good.
It was a weird ending for them.
But they all basically, as it would, it comes down to Bad Billy blowout. Rivera, Rick, and Judy is also racing.
Absolutely,
right.
Yep.
And you knew it was going to come down to the four of them, and Rivera's knocks Judy off her bike.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
I'm back up to a second.
Sure.
'Cause Bad Billy blowout puts. What is he like getting ready for the Tour de France? He put on the yellow jersey. Like
Yes. That's his I'm not Team Hurricane anymore.
Yeah, he didn't want to be with the team anymore.
That's true. I guess he only had the one change of clothes that he wore the whole movie.
That wasn't even the other guys had to go buy that because that's all he brought.
But it had to be bright yellow so that the audience could tell where Billy Blowout
that's
was.
true, yeah.
Right.
I'm the stage victor.
That's right. Well, Rivera knocks.
Lance Armstrong.
Rivera knocks Judy off of her bike, and Rick stops racing to go over and help her. And they're both on the ground, and Rivera's just gonna. I mean, what's his plan? To just run them over?
Yeah, seemed that way.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Yep.
He's gonna murder them.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Cause bodily harm.
Yeah.
Maim or injure.
Maim or injure. But at the last second, Bad Billy Blowout drives in and blocks Rivera, and he jumps Billy.
Yeah, he lays the bike over
lays the
on
bike
his
on the
head,
side.
and he runs
Off
right
of
up
the
the
wheel.
wheel.
Yeah, it's a ramp effect.
Okay.
Yep.
Like a ramp.
Yep.
Yeah. And then he gets
It launches him into a barbed wire fence.
yeah.
Fantastic.
He's strung up on the side of a mountain now.
Hey guys, I'm here.
He's just hanging over
He's
this.
just hanging there. His bike's down in the gorge.
And they all high five each other like, ha ha, hey,
that
let's
guy.
keep racing. Let him die.
We got to get to the smoke.
We're just going to let him die, and we'll get to the smoke. Dude just left dangling. And we never find out, assuming he fell to his death.
Well,
That's
either
in
that
the
or
sequel.
Carl got him in the Corvette.
That's right.
You know how long it took me to find this place?
No, that's what happens after they jump Suicide Hill. If they had kept going instead of they freeze frame, they would have landed and Carl would have been there. Do you guys know how long it took me to find
Why
this
did it
place?
take you guys so long to get here?
That smoke was only 100 yards away. You know how long
That
I've
was
been
my
waiting?
car burning.
His car's on fire on a twig.
That's right. That's
I
right.
ripped the gas tank open.
Oh, my gosh. But Rick wins.
Does
and, well, he crosses the smoke
He
first.
took all.
Yeah, I mean,
He
Is there
took
a
all.
line? I mean, it's a
Well, they all
It's a
seem to
burning
acknowledge
car,
that he
so-
won.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
I mean, I think on the jump in the final scene, like
Yes.
his bike was
ahead.
Oh.
And so, they have this all like, hey, we're a good team. He took it all.
He took it
Well,
all.
what was all?
All of it.
Judy
all
was all.
$900.
$900.
That's right.
Smoke finish line.
Yeah.
Right. The admiration of his three friends.
Yeah.
Put Bad
He
Billy
had
in
that.
second place.
Well, that's right. That's what I'm saying. That's all he really wanted was
Yeah.
to prove that he wasn't Billy's best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's just
And
mediocre.
he was a
Billy.
racer. And
Right.
and they have this moment where they all kind of reconcile, and Billy's like, we make a heck of a team, and they
yeah.
join up and
Team
they're like,
Tsunami.
let's ride Suicide Hill.
Yep, there you go.
I thought it was a good way to end it.
I think my wife said this. The ending reminded her of like an after-school special. I mean, everybody just got together, high-fived. All right,
Yeah, that's right. And didn't we all learn something about each other too?
It's
Right.
not a big deal that you were banging my girl. We're friends. This is okay.
We're cool.
Yeah.
We're cool. She
Right.
got out of town.
Good for her.
Oh my gosh! All right,
And then
boys.
she got caught up in cyborg action. Deserved.
She had to
Learn
leave.
Japanese.
deserved that.
Learn Japanese now.
She learned Japanese and hooked up with tried to. Even Van Damme was like, no.
No.
I heard about what you did in that other movie. Not
He's
me.
like, no, we're not. That's why he turns her down on the
why.
beach.
He
Yeah.
knew.
He's like, no, I saw winners take off. And just put that blanket back on.
Get off that rock.
No, that's enough with rocks for you.
That's right. All right, boys. So at this point, before we move on to the awards, check your notes, check what you got. Let me know as you're watching, if you're like me and there were things happening in this movie that still merit discussion. What are some of the little things that you noticed and loved about this movie?
You know what? One of the things I loved,
Yeah.
Rick's truck. The GMC square body with the KC lights is a kick-ass truck.
Really?
had
Oh,
one
I
like
love
that.
that truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
They're
was like
awesome.
just a truck back then too. Now that's a square body Chevy. That's
Right.
Right.
that
Right.
was a K series.
Yeah.
That's a K10, whatever. He's driving it.
Yeah,
That's just a
I
truck.
love the
back
truck.
then, that thing was current.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a truck.
Yeah, that was just some random truck.
But
But in
yeah,
retrospect, it's like, oh,
Absolutely.
man.
well, the square body is my favorite truck.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Totally.
speaking Japanese.
4 people crammed in the cab,
That's right.
driving to Dallas.
I was just thinking yesterday how
No
much
seatbelts.
I wanted a
Well, you don't
square
need
body.
seatbelts. It's 1987.
That's right.
We've had 4 in a Ranger before this happens.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's roomy. You could actually fit 4
You
people
can fit
in a
4
cab
people in a
square
cab of a
body.
full-size truck.
Yeah.
on a full size, yeah.
I actually had an 85 GMC.
Okay.
Yeah. Square body. So
Yeah.
I know. Good days. Good times.
times.
That's awesome. I saw one in a movie once.
It's about dirt bikes.
I think.
They were driving car bikes. They were racing car bikes. It was great.
the starter cable was frayed.
That's right. I wrote down 2 little things that one of them you mentioned was Rick's workout outfit, right, with the cutoff sweatshirt, but also Sam. Okay, Sam was the guy that he didn't sell his bike. He ended up fixing it up for him without him knowing, and then he runs in and they do the high five thing. The man is a 40-year-old dad wearing a cutoff sweatshirt.
Yep.
Like today, dads aren't allowed to wear cutoff sweatshirts. That's specifically
That's because of our bods.
a teenage thing. Right, but there's a full-on dad in a cutoff sweatshirt. This is the 1980s. Okay, I told my daughter, I was like, well, look at this. Apparently, if you had lived 30 years ago, I could be wearing a cutoff sweatshirt right now, and
Yeah.
she was horrified. But that was regular attire, apparently. Sam's like a mechanic, and he's in there with a cutoff sweatshirt.
Well, if you watch like college football from back in the days, they all had the cut off half jerseys.
That's what I'm
too.
saying.
like,
Apparently, it was acceptable
it's
for
80s
men our
thing,
age back then to do that.
well,
Right.
we had the original crop tops.
I think it's acceptable now.
So I'm saying, well, let's take it back to 1987. Next episode, we'll all come in and cut off sweatshirts. The collars have to be cut out of
yeah,
the
you gotta
sweatshirt.
have the
I'm pretty
collar
sure I'm
ripped
the only
up
one that
and,
would
yeah.
actually do it.
That's right.
You guys would
I'll do
sissy
it.
out.
I would do it. The other little thing I had was the first time they go up right before the first race in the local town, that they're going to have in the entire movie. And Frank comes up and be like, these are my guys. All right, boys, we're going to win this, right? I don't want anybody to have any real pain, just champagne. This is like this whole stupid thing.
Look at my belt
And you
buckle.
just see Rivera in the back doing a curl with a dumbbell right before the race with his shirt off.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, how is that going to help you win this race? Right now, my left arm is going to be juiced.
Let's just throttle arm. Yeah, brake arm.
That's clutch.
The clutch arm. Yeah, you got to have that strong clutch arm.
That's my hold on to the bike arm.
No, that's my
strong clutch
that's
arm.
my. Oh, the camera's on. Let me get start doing 47, 48.
305.
999.
I can't lift my
I don't know
arm.
if
I
you
did
heard me
so
counting,
many.
but I did over 1,000.
Any other little things? That
you know what? Because I think this movie was as much about friendship and kind of restoring a friendship too, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I liked was, again, it was very cheesy, but after Rick kind of comes to his senses and gets over whatever going through the hay bales and whatever at the qualifier, non-qualifier, hometown, whatever. He just comes up and says, "Hey, can a guy apologize to his buddies?" And they're just all like,
but then they walk away.
they walk away just like, meh, meh. But then they all like, yeah, okay, and immediately, and they're all messing around, throwing each other in the.
I love those guys.
Yeah,
Every time I saw them
great friendship
horsing
movie.
around at work, they're throwing hay bales at each other or screwing. I'm like, I want to work with these guys. They're like fun.
Yeah.
They're good people.
I loved Bear riding the pocket bike into the pool. I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And then Peggy yelling at him.
That's right.
Get the bike out of the pool. Get the bike out of the pool. Get back to the camper. He gets up on his side. Yes. He's like, yes, dear. He gets up and cracks a beer with was it Mongrel? Mongrel?
That guy was out of his mind.
Yeah, he was.
I don't think he knew he was in a movie.
That was just Tuesday
It's an
with
80s
Bear.
movie. You got to have one guy in there with the cocaine.
I don't think he knew what was. You're right. Oh, where's Bob?
He's your
That
coke-
guy.
Yeah,
Bob
for
Housing.
Bob.
That guy was
that's
making
the
his
cocaine
second
guy.
appearance.
All pre-workout and cocaine.
There's a lot of pre-workout and cocaine
All
in
right.
this film.
Anything else, boys? Before we move to awards,
To be honest with you, we've
I think
covered.
we've
thoroughly
thoroughly combed this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get on. Every single episode, we give out awards to these movies because no one else ever has, so we'll be the first. And we always start with the Will Patton Award for Intensity. This is not an acting award. This is for intensity. Will Patton lives.
It's also unanimous.
Yeah, it may
Calling
be.
it.
be.
I'm calling it.
It may be.
We'll see.
We'll see. But Will Patton lives at a 10. This is how we measure intensity, okay? He never comes off of 10, and no one ever gets to 10 on the Will Patton scale, but we can get close. Who was your Will Patton Award winner, Clint?
I claim this Will Patton voting for Bear Mountain.
For Bear.
All day.
Yeah.
100%. Every scene he's in, that dude's over the top. Crazy. Love
Okay.
it.
Who you got, Joe?
Stop lying.
I had somebody else, but
I have somebody else too, so.
sunglasses guy.
no way.
Frank?
Frank.
Yeah.
Going with discount Ric Flair.
I mean,
Okay.
he was over the top.
He
I
was.
suppose he was.
He knew the
Fair.
assignment.
He was.
Yeah,
He did a nice job.
He did a great
Yeah.
job of being the douchebag we needed
Yep.
him to be.
Yeah.
You're-
I mean,
you're
just
not
like an
wrong.
Ernest movie where,
It is the same character as Marty.
we need
Here.
to establish him being a D-bag right away. Yep.
You're right.
Like,
This
we're just
guy
gonna get
wrote
him
the
up.
same character.
Yeah.
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 Marty in Saves Christmas was Frank from Winners Take All.
Yeah.
Stupid Christmas.
All right. What you got,
Check out
Ryan?
my tree. Check out my tree. Look at my sunglasses.
Here, park this.
It has to me. It has to be Bear. I mean,
Okay.
you talk about
like Bear, too.
intensity
Yeah.
and over the top,
Yeah.
and wishing that he would have been in more of the movie.
Yeah.
I will say this:
That's true.
Peggy, his wife, is a close second.
Oh, yeah. I was,
A close second.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say, and Bear. I mean, yeah, nobody gets to a 10, but Bear is at least a 9.5 in this movie.
Whoa, hold on. Hold the
Yeah,
phone
come
here.
on.
Hold on now. Hold on. We're talking about Will Patton. And I love
man.
Tony
Oh,
Longo.
yeah.
The legend.
But
Tony Longo. Is that his name?
In this, yeah, Tony Longo. Tony
You
Longo.
already said it 47,000 times.
Tony Longo couldn't hold Will Patton's jock strap. He does not get to a 9.5 on the Will Patton scale.
But in this movie,
In this movie.
No.
In this movie.
If Will Patton had played Bear,
oh my
he would have been
God.
an 11.
he would
But
have burned Texas Stadium to the ground. This is Bear Mountain. That's what would have happened. Okay. Sorry. I had Gerardo Meja as the Will Patton Award
I don't
winner.
know who that is.
He's the guy that played Rivera, who was like in instant kill mode the entire movie. Talk about just straight intensity.
Yeah.
The dude never ever broke from his like murderous rage basically through the entire movie.
Yeah.
But he was such a one-note character. Though.
Yeah.
It's not an acting award.
Yeah, okay.
It's an award for intensity. Now, I can't argue with Bear, and Bear was ultimately going to win because he got 2 of the votes. So, so Tony Longo is the winner.
Unanimous.
But it's not unanimous.
I'm really close to Bear, though. So you can count me as a Bear.
But I'll tell you what is an acting award.
Most people do.
I was like, I just stopped and looked around the room. I was like, oh, shit, I just said that. Damn it.
I'll tell you what is an acting award. The Trash Can Full of Dirt award is for acting.
Ooh.
Or for a lack of acting, rather. It's the award we give out to the person who displayed an acting range akin to a trash can full of dirt. And I hope this one's unanimous. But if it's not, it's okay, because there are multiple candidates that could win this award.
There could be.
Yeah. So we'll go around this way instead this time. So, Ryan, who you got for us, brother?
Deborah Richter.
Yep.
That part, every time they needed to film it, they could have went down to the local college bar and picked up a drunk college chick. So.
I'll just throw my hat in with you. I had Deborah Richter too.
Because I mean, Joe's list. I mean, that's they could have. They didn't even need any acting. They could just Joe could have gave him the list and here.
Well, despite the fact that she was a terrible person, that's not even part of it.
No.
But every line she said was worse than the one she said
That's
before.
what I was going to say. It's not the character, because we all hate the character.
Yeah.
Right.
We're supposed to hate the character. That's fine.
Right.
Every movie's written with,
Right.
ups and downs.
Right.
We're supposed to hate the character. Forget about that. The deliveries on this.
It's
terrible stuff.
It's not like she's not invested in it. I mean, kind of was. She's a terrible person, but like the delivery of the lines, the delivery of the lines, just not. Like said,
who you got? Because it seems like you have somebody else.
I don't think you guys fully understand the gravity of a garbage pan full of dirt.
Garbage pan.
What garbage? Yeah.
No, we're going with garbage pan.
Garbage.
It's slightly smaller than a whole can.
I don't know. She had the personality of one.
What about Mr. Corvette?
Oh, Carl?
Carl, come on.
That's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick at all.
Carl.
Yeah, but Carl was only crap like twice. She was crap the whole thing.
but they could have went down to the beach in L.A. and picked out a bunch of Carls.
They could have found someone sleeping under a dock.
Carl never moved from his
sweater.
Carl never moved from his spot.
That's true.
He always stayed in one spot. He always stood in one spot. Literally, garbage can full of dirt.
Yeah.
Paint a face on it.
That's
park. Put
I
a
respect.
polo on it.
It's not a bad.
I'm not going to bash that pick. I respect it. That's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're both.
He's my favorite character.
That's also fair.
But
who do you
also
got?
garbage
Who do you
pan.
got, Clint?
No, Deborah Richter.
Okay. All right.
I like legitimately.
pretty almost unanimous.
Deborah Richter is our winner of the Trash Can Full of Dirt Award. Well deserved. Well deserved. Time to talk about our top 3 performers. So the people that you thought gave the 3. This is also an acting award. Who you thought gave the top 3 performances in the movie? I'll start us off.
Tough.
It's hard. It's hard.
Because as far as performances, you gotta take your favorite character. That doesn't matter. It's performances.
Right.
Yeah.
And even through this, I'm like, I had 3 written down, but I've kind of changed as we've gone through this. And
I got my top 3.
I had Peter DeLuise at number 3. That was Wally. I thought he gave a great performance.
Yeah.
Goose was okay, but he seemed more like he was trying. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'm the goofy friend.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say he was like,
even when he got his nose broke, and they afterwards.
But Wally, I just bought through the entire thing. I thought he was great.
An honest, genuine,
buddy.
I liked Wally.
Yeah, and then I actually thought Don Michael Paul gave a pretty good performance as Rick. He didn't go on to be much of an actor, and dude, I found this movie that he was in the same year, 1987. I think I don't know what it's called, Rolling Vengeance or something like that. I added it to our list. It looks insane. And so we're going to watch that one at some point. And then that number 1 spot, I had Kathleen York. I thought Judy gave the best performance in the movie.
Yeah, I'm with you with Judy.
Yeah.
I'll put Wally on there. Yeah. I was going to say instead of Rick.
Yeah.
My God, why am I blanking here?
Which character?
I lost it.
Billy?
No, Billy was terrible. Straight across. I can't think of it. Wish Flair. I can't think of his name.
Frank.
Yeah. Frank.
Frank.
Frank was a terrible dude, but like I legitimately think he played that sleazeball agent, manager, company owner guy job. So,
and if he was here right now, I'd be like, that's right, baby. Number 3.
Okay.
Number 3 on Clint's top 3. All American, baby. What do you got, Joe?
Well, this would be probably number 4, but I would say Cindy's below the knee skirt was a top performer for me.
Wow.
That brought me back to the 80s.
Yeah.
But my top 3 would probably go the Twins.
Okay. They take one spot or two?
One spot.
Okay.
Yeah, they're twins.
Which one was better than
It's
the
like
other?
one actor. I mean, they're twins.
One
They're
actor.
together. It's one actor.
They don't have
Twins?
a full separate DNA spectrum.
No.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're identical. So yeah.
Twins.
The girl from California with the mic giving her
talking
little
about the
speech.
bikes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I give her the
Barbie?
Yep. Barbie.
Here's the bike. Here's where the gas goes in the bike.
And then the top of the
They
list,
have wheels.
Carl.
That is your top 3?
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
Is Carl,
It was a tough-
Barbie, and the twins?
So you went trash can full of dirt and Carl for top
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
yeah.
Really?
It was
Okay.
a tough 3, man.
All right.
It was tough. I mean,
Every-
I really had to think about it.
You were sweating over this
single
list.
idea you've ever had in your life is invalidated by that list. The fact that you had trash can full of dirt and your number 1 as the same
guy.
person.
Hey,
All right. All right.
This guy
It's a
loves dirt.
subjective, like
This guy
acting is
loves dirt.
subjective.
That's all there is to it.
In the time from when he said that was his trash can full of dirt, he came full circle and decided it was the best performance in the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe everything is a trash can full of something worse than dirt.
Maybe
Hey,
we
Clint,
all are.
How about the fact that maybe I related to that
Yeah.
character?
Maybe he has been that guy on the side of the road saying,
Looking
hey, you
for
know
my
how
girlfriend."
long it took me to get here?
Sitting against his Corvette.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I think
That's
you're
right.
trying to be funny.
You don't know me, Clint.
Ryan, who's your top 3?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I had my initial thought was Bad Billy for number 3, but
Yeah.
then we talk more. You know, I'm going with Frank, man. It's just,
Yeah.
hey, you, hey, hey,
Yeah.
look at my sunglasses.
Top
my
3
belt
twice,
buckle.
baby. That's right. Two time.
Top 3, all American, all American. This is all American podcast, all American.
My shoes are all
Japanese
American.
mics, but all American.
That's right. Even when we're bad, we're good. That's right.
And then I think I
face.
just had the order reverse. I had
Okay.
Kathleen York, Judy
Yeah.
at number 2, and then Rick at number 1.
All right. Well, good.
I think they had probably the best chemistry in the movie.
I agree 100%. I think those are good picks. So as we look at this now, I mean, I absolutely I look surprised myself how much I liked this movie.
Right.
Okay. So I recognize I can't sit here and say, because now we do the metric. Is it a bad movie, full stop? Is it a bad movie that rules, or is it a legitimately good movie? And I can't get there, even though I loved it, because from an objective filmmaking standpoint, you can't look at this and say this is just a great movie, at least for me. But I will say it got close to me almost saying that, and I will say that it is a bad movie that absolutely rules, and it's at the top end of whatever that scale is for me.
I won't go that far. This is a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's without a doubt you can't say this is a good movie.
Yeah.
But rules to me is like, I'm like, guys, you got to come watch this movie with me. Guys, you got to watch this movie. Go home.
Which
and watch
I would
this
do.
movie. That's
Yeah.
I'm not there.
Okay.
I'm not there. I'm like,
That's
this
fine.
is a good
Don't
movie.
invite
I
me
will
over to your
probably
house, James, to watch anything if that's your
Would you watch it
would
again?
watch Absolutely. I
Okay.
would watch it again myself, but it's like you're a little ashamed of
Okay.
people knowing that you like
So it's a
this.
guilty pleasure.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a bad movie that's
Okay. Fair enough. Joe,
You said that right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you haven't changed your mind at all.
Change your mind.
Okay.
I might have gone from to which is better.
Okay.
So
Well, at least you weren't at meh.
Yeah. We're not a man.
It is a bad movie. That's bad.
No.
wait, that's the joke.
No, wait.
No.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay. It had some dots of meh. You know, some of the acting was better than Megaforce and Rad and all these other cheesy over
man.
the top 80s movies. And
That's the curve we're getting.
Megaforce
Yeah.
is the best movie of all time. Wait,
But okay.
False.
Okay, no, hold on a second. See, I actually enjoyed Megaforce a lot better, simply because I think they owned it. It felt like they were in on the joke, you know, and that's why I almost felt
these
better.
guys thought they were serious here. Though,
Yeah,
is
like
what
I feel
okay.
like they were trying to do something big,
Maybe.
and they just fell flat on their face. I wouldn't recommend. I mean, if you're
Imagine being on this movie from a production standpoint.
Yeah.
The budget is low. This is definitely a bunch of guys who probably know each other.
Yeah.
There's some hired-in actor talent, obviously, in this, but this is for sure 100% B-rate buddies at most of these positions.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be a lot of fun to do something like.
But that doesn't make it a good movie.
Oh, it does.
No.
It might make
It's a bad movie.
Ryan?
No, it doesn't. I never said it was a good movie. It's a bad movie. But that makes it
Just
better than
everyone at home know, 30 minutes after Ryan and I have left, they'll still be here talking about whether this was a bad movie or not.
No, it's a bad movie.
Okay.
But it's not a bad movie, full stop.
I got you.
No,
I got
definitely good movie, not in the least, but
Yeah.
definitely the 80s cheese. I thought it was done well. It is like kind of you kind of get into the story a little bit. It's about buddies,
Yeah.
right? So I would say, for me, bad movie that rules. I think
All right.
too, from the aspect of being on a few shows with Clint, and Clint says, "Yeah, I just watch it for the entertainment factor. This is one of those movies for me."
If it was 60 minutes long, I would probably
No
share that
movie's 60
sentiment.
minutes long. Like
Fine,
90 minutes, like
120.
the like,
Fine, 120.
What if we cut it down into?
But this was almost 2.5 hours long.
this, no, an hour
40.
They had 4 endings.
120 is longer than it was.
It was an hour 40.
It's
and
hour 40, buddy.
we cut it down to
He doesn't know the difference between an hour 40 or 140 minutes.
Got it. Okay.
That's the problem.
Got it.
cut it down to 330-minute sections, and we'll have an after show special for you.
Would Arnold Schwarzenegger have made this
Yes.
movie
Yes.
better?
As Bear?
No, as Carl.
No, it's
You know how long I've been waiting here. This is ridiculous.
I want him to be Rick. For one reason. Could you imagine him on the sidecar?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Not even Rick. What about the sunglasses guy?
It's Frank?
Yeah,
I don't think it'd
no.
be slimy Frank.
Hey.
Wait,
Yeah.
stop the bus.
You
But
have
the
a very
sidecar.
nice face for television.
I'm going to get the hot dogs and the beer.
That's right.
But does Ric Flair make Frank better?
Oh my.
Yes.
Okay, hold on now.
Yes.
I would take Arnold out of the movie, which I would barely ever say.
Oh.
If you could take Ric Flair and let him play Frank, I would give my left arm to watch that version of this movie.
IMDb would have 500 votes on it. Then if Ric Flair
It would be.
I would change my status on it would be
Yes.
a great movie that rules if that was
Ric
the case.
Flair. You're talking about the limousine riding, jet flying, woo, wheeling dealing, kiss stealing, diamond ring wearing, son of a gun. And I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. That would have been Frank. Would have been great.
Yes.
All right. Next week, boys, we are going to be talking about a movie that was written and directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans called A Low Down Dirty Shame. Any of you ever see that movie before?
I think back in the day, yeah.
It's basically was like a kind of a cop comedy. Like the problem is it came out in 94. And 94 might have been the best year for films ever. I don't know if you remember, we talked in the very first episode we did Street Fighter. We talked about 94 was like Shawshank, Pulp Fiction. It was just Forrest Gump. And then there was like a Murderer's Row. If you go look up the movies came out in 94, it might be the best year ever. And here, this movie gets released, like, it just got buried by all that stuff, right? I actually think it was, at least I remember enjoying it. I haven't seen it since then. So, we're going to go back and we're going to look at this movie that was lost in the shuffle, bring it into the light and see, it's currently at a 6.0 on IMDb. And we're going to, see if it has more to offer than that and maybe bring it to the forefront a little bit.
Oh.
But it's a funny movie. This had Jada Pinkett Smith in it before anyone really ever knew who she was. Where she was still funny and cool before she was, Miss Will Smith.
Yeah.
6.0 is higher than 5.9.
It is, but it's 2 less than this. This was a 6.2. So it's 1 better than Air America, which is like the metric for whether it's. So join us next week, guys, for A Lowdown Dirty Shame. We appreciate that you've been on this ride with us. Thank you for listening. Tell your friends. The podcast has really been growing, and that's because of you guys, and so we very much appreciate it. So for Clint Bush, Joseph Gorotowski, Ryan Mueller, this is James Hauser. Thank you for listening.
I forgot to say, put your race face on. I forgot to say it.
I still like the fact that we just kind of took the music that was already on the soundboard at the first episode, and we're still using it.
We're claiming it, man. I've had a couple people, like two, say like, "Oh, that's the sound from the Rodecaster Pro, right?" And I'm like, "Yep, it is," because we couldn't afford any of the music, but it's going to become so synonymous with us, no one else is going to be able to use it
unless they have a Rodecaster. Yeah.
No, everyone will just say you're using the Bad Movies music.
Oh, so
we're claiming it.
Nice.
This is what I'm saying.
Got it.